A lot of the times it's easier for people to minimize your trauma because they don't want to take accountability in the part they played in your trauma. And I think it's important to understand when it comes to dynamics like that, when it comes to being in situations like that, to understand to not blame them for doing that, because a lot of the times that comes from a coping mechanism within them, and it doesn't always mean that they don't care about you or they don't love you. A lot of the times it's just them making themselves feel better about what happened to you or what they did to you. In their minds, it's like also supposed to be making you feel better or trying to make you ignore it so that you can feel better, because that's how they were raised or that's how they coped with their own emotions, by ignoring it or by acting like it didn't happen or by acting as if it wasn't important or whatever the case may be. And I think it's important to understand that when it comes to people that try to dim down what they did to you or dim down what happened to you in order for them not to take accountability or whatever the case may be. But I think it's also important to understand to not do that to yourself, to step back and understand why they are doing that to you, but also understand to validate your emotions and to allow yourself to feel your trauma and allow yourself to be that nurturer for your own emotions and be that protector for your own energy. And also don't be afraid to speak up for yourself, but also be in a position to where you understand that you cannot control somebody to make you feel safe or loved or protected, but what you can control is removing those people out of your life or distancing yourself or creating a plan in order for you to remove yourself out of those people's lives. Because a lot of the times, you have to live with your parents because you're a kid, or you have to live with your parents because you're in a financial rut or whatever the case may be, or you have to, deal with certain things. But I think it's important to understand to not go in a situation of like the blame game, but be a solution-based person and understand that you don't have to be miserable, you don't have to be fearful, you don't have to feel unsafe or unworthy. You can put yourself in a position to understand and connect to yourself and really allow yourself to create a solution and take one step at a time towards that until you can really be free of their presence. Because you might not can be free of being in front of them or being around them or whatever the case may be, but you can create a plan in order to execute it and take one step at a time each day and have faith in that until you're able to remove yourself. Like for me personally, in my journey of healing and connecting to myself and reparenting myself, I had to step back and realize why certain things happen the way that they happen, or why certain people move the way that they move in my traumas in life. Because I remember, because in a situation in my life when it happened, when it came to a sibling connection where I had to release and let go of one of my siblings, because when I was younger, I got molested, and my brother ended up telling me that he tried to minimize my experience or minimize what happened to me. And I took a step back and I had to understand why he was doing that. And I realized that I had to take a step back and realize that in a way he was trying to validate himself for not being able to be there for me or being able to protect me or whatever the case may be. And it made him feel better to just feel like nothing happened, or really understanding like why these people try to show up in certain ways, or why these people try to minimize my experience or try to play these certain roles that made them feel better about the situation. And I had to take a step back and understand that, yes, they might have minimized my situation or tried to make themselves feel better about my situation, but it doesn't take away from what I've been through in life, and it doesn't take away from the fact that I did something for myself and I protected myself, or I needed to feel what I needed to feel, or doesn't take away from the fact that that situation still happened. And so I think it's important to understand that when it comes to connecting to your traumas or allowing yourself to release and let go of your traumas, other people might minimize or play these certain roles in your life, but it's important for you not to minimize it. It's important for you to allow yourself to feel what you need to feel and understand how big of a role you are allowing your trauma to play in your life. Because it doesn't matter what other people feel or how other people feel about what they did to you or what happened to you. It's important to understand how big of a role you are allowing that thing to play. You are allowing that thing or that situation to play in your life, so that way you can allow yourself to feel it and be able to connect to it, so that you can create a healthy dynamic with your own emotions and create a healthy dynamic with your own experience. And I think that's important to understand, to not minimize or join in with the haters or join in with the bullies or manipulators, and be that for yourself as well. Be the nurturer and be the protector and protect your energy. Because yeah, you might have to be around those people if they are parents or siblings or cousins or family, or a work situation or whatever the case may be, but you don't have to connect to it. You don't have to allow yourself to connect emotionally to it. You don't have to give those people your energy. You don't have to have long conversations with those people. You don't have to text those people. You don't have to be on the phone with those people. You don't have to be in the same room with those people all the time. And if you do have to be in the same room, if you have to live with them or whatever the case may be, you don't have to be in the house all the time. You can walk out, you can go to a park, you can go to another place that you can create a sanctuary for yourself, to where you can find your own peace and your own stability in that space. And I think that's important to understand. You don't have to limit yourself or box yourself in with those people or those situations.